Hello and welcome to episode 38 of Inside the Video Store. Thank you for watching last week. I don't know why, but last week was the fastest episode to get to 500 views, which is crazy because after 37 episodes you would presume that most people would be bored, rigid and just tuning in for some apologetic kind of watch just to make conversation as they come into store. But no, believe it or not, last week's episode was the fastest to reach 500 views, which it did in a couple of days. Tremendous, absolutely over the moon. So yeah, definitely makes coming in here on my day off worthwhile. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your comments. I'll have a look at those later. Another good week in store here. Plenty to talk about. We're going to, because we're on the road to Christmas, things are getting a little bit feisty in store. So I've got a little bit less time to spend on these. So I'm going to try and knuckle these down to between 30 and 35 minutes a week, if possible. And also it saves you, because you'll have less time in the run up to Christmas, because you'll have things like, what are they called? Children, maybe, to think about, and other things like turkey and whatever people do. So that will come to the fore. But yeah, exciting times. I was at my local train station yesterday to unveil a marvellous billboard with some really cool artwork done by one of our local artists to celebrate the video store, this video store. Which is quite a unique idea, really. One of the local community groups have propositioned it to me, and I was only too glad to take part in it. I mean, the local train station sees 3,000 commuters pass through it every day, so just to kind of be there on a billboard, telling people a little bit about what this place is, is a unique opportunity, and one that really, is very, very exciting. Also, we have this. This is the bill. This is the bill from Gibson Graphics. The last design, the last merch design is now in. It's all been signed off. It's been uploaded to the vendor, and it's really exciting. So hopefully, all being well, the new merch line should launch next week. If you want to check it out, tune into our Facebook and Instagram profiles, where every day I'll be showcasing a brand new design, which is just tremendous. I really can't wait to launch this range of merchandise. And, like I say, so many of you who watch this, who kind of follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram and Snips Movies, you don't live near here, and you want to kind of you want to feel as though you're contributing, or you want to celebrate the uniqueness of this place. So this is your way to do that, I guess. And if you want to buy a t-shirt or a sticker or a mug, then you're welcome to do so. But like I do say, the merch sites, the two vendors that I'm using, they're not the cheapest. So please wait until they have money off weekends, which they do pretty much every fortnight. They have 20% off every fortnight. So use that opportunity. Don't buy it full price, because there's no need to. Wait until there's money off. Wait until a sale, which come around very, very regularly. Or you can also do things like sign up and get a 20% discount off these places. So do that. Do not pay full price for these products. Okay, let's have a look at the brand new releases this week. It's a very tasty week indeed. We have a remake in on Blu-ray and DVD, which is The Crow. The Crow has been remade. Dangerous kind of thing to do. I don't know what it's like. Has anyone seen it out there? Can anyone fill me in? Directed by Rupert Sanders and starring... who's that guy? Who's that guy? Bill Skarsgård, isn't it? Yes, it is. And Danny Houston's in this as well. So, yeah, a bit of a weird one. Is it close to the original? Does anyone know? Is it worth checking out? It's got nice artwork. But, to replicate that original film would be a very tall order, so I can't see that happening. But I may be surprised. Also, a big one this week is Cuckoo. Cuckoo comes from the writer-director Tillman Singer. And, well, as the quote on the back says, an eccentric blend of sci-fi, body horror, and cozy Alps noir. I mean, sold to the man in the chair. Yeah, this sounds great. Dazzler have licensed it off Universal for UK distribution, and it looks like a really interesting proposition. So yeah, that should be cool. This looks really interesting. It's called Kneecap. This is out on DVD and Blu-ray. I just picked up the DVD of it. An interesting one. Of the 80,000 native Irish speakers, 6,000 live in the north of Ireland, and 3 of them became a rap group called Kneecap. This is the real-life story of how this anarchic Belfast trio became the unlikely figureheads of a civil rights movement to save and reinvigorate their mother tongue. It looks really interesting. It's been recommended to me by one of my customers. So yeah, kind of very, very curious about this indeed. So that's it for the contemporary stuff. Just the 3 releases, The Crow, Cuckoo and Kneecap. Onto the boutiques. Still missing 2 boutiques this week. The Warner Archive releases of The Fearless Vampire Killers from Roman Polanski, and also there's another version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is out this week, starring Cary Grant, which could be interesting. I don't know about you, but I love cooking shows. So the idea of Vincent Price presenting his own cookery show is absolutely mouth-watering. This is the much anticipated BFI Flipside Spine number 50. I've got 1 to 49. So this was a much anticipated release. Vincent Price is just lovely to watch in anything. So cooking, I can only presume, will be an absolute delight, especially for 2 hours and 20 minutes. But yeah, I mean, you've probably heard about this series for years and years and years. But personally, I've never seen it. So to get the opportunity to do so, I can imagine would be quite the treat. So looking forward to that. We have the new Spy number 54 in 88 Films Slasher Classics Collection. I have this already from MVD. And I'm guessing... Okay, it adds a commentary from the Hysteria Continues. So we do have some added value with this. But yeah, Howard Avidis' film with none other than the legendary, brilliant Bill Paxton. Yeah, Mortuary is number 54 in the Slasher Classics collection out this week. Now, I didn't, funnily enough, for some reason, I didn't get the first movie in this. I missed out, but we'll come to that later. This is Black Cat 2. Nothing to do with the folky Edgar Allan Poe films. I love this slip. You know, that's a quality slip, isn't it? I mean, I'm happy to pay an extra £2 for a slip like that, because that is rigid, it's lovely, it's shiny, and it's solid as a rock. I like that a great deal. But this is Black Cat 2, about the volatile and violent assassin Catherine. Directed, of course, by Stephen Shin, who directed the first movie, meant to be a really great Hong Kong action movie. So not familiar with these at all. This sequel was made in 1992. The original was made in 1990. Definitely worth a look. And more from 88 Films this week is The Legend of Feng Sai-yuk. Number 1 and number 2 is, of course, the famous Jet Li twosome, both directed by Corey Ewan, the late great Corey Ewan. Stacked with special features on this, including new commentaries, interviews, and booklet as well, 40-page booklet. It's a very nice looking set indeed, with these digipack boxes, are they? It tends to be the choice of many distributor at the moment, but it's a very nice edition, a lovely limited edition collector's set. I got the Blu-ray, didn't get the UHD because it wasn't dual format, I don't think. Also, there was a £15 price gap, which was a little bit too much of a price leap to do so, but the Blu-ray will do me just fine. So yeah, that is this week's brand new releases. Oh no, we have one more. Sorry, how silly of me. We have one more, which is this beast. I mean, look at it. Look at it. I mean, that is just remarkable, isn't it? Absolutely remarkable. What a time we live in to get lovely, shiny, rectangular things like these. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's the third volume in Arrow Video's SureScope series. I just got a new job off Arrow Video, to be honest, which is very, very nice indeed. Looking forward to that. Not out till, I think, next July, I don't think. But we're starting work on it now, because it's one of the most anticipated Blu-rays, for me, I can think of. So yeah, but this is just amazing. We've got iconic titles here, like The One-Armed Swordsman and its two sequels, The Return of the One-Armed Swordsman and The New One-Armed Swordsman. You've got other things which I'm not too familiar with, like The Lady Hermit, The 14 Amazons, Jade Tiger, for example. But the way this is done is just absolutely gorgeous. Bonus disc as well, and a CD soundtrack on the last page. It's a wonderful, wonderful box set that retains the quality of the first two volumes. And yes, the price is a premium, but it's great. And it's also great to be able to have this in store to rent. People can come along, they can cherry pick a handful of discs, 2 or 3 discs from this set for a low price. Save them the price of £120 outlay, and they can still enjoy it as much as someone who owns it. So that's really cool. So thrilled with this. It's just a mega. So that's SureScope Volume 3 out this week, courtesy of Arrow Video. What's been out on loan this week? A usual heady concoction of variety. Rec went out on loan this week, which is very cool indeed. I saw this when it came out, and I don't know if it stands up today. Has anyone seen it recently? Have you seen it recently? Is it as good as it was when it first came out, which was probably quite some time ago? 17 years ago. I mean, when I watched it, I was absolutely terrified beyond belief. But I think I've only seen it once since, so I don't know how it stands up in 2024. I would certainly like to take a look at it. And, of course, the sequels. Which I think there were 4, wasn't it? Yeah. Rec 2. Rec Genesis. And Rec Apocalypse. Which all decent to some degree, but the first one was quite something. My friend Neil took out Ghost Stories for Christmas. I say for Christmas because they were always shown at Christmas. But Ghost Stories from the BBC, the M.R. James adaptations. He was off to see The Signalman, the play, The Signalman, which I can only presume must have been an absolute treat. Certainly The Signalman is the strongest chapter in this set. I don't really recall too much about Stigma or The Ice House, but nevertheless, this series of ghost stories from the BBC are just fantastic. I mean, lovely this time of year as well. Coming into December, cold night, close the curtains, get the fire on, and watch a classic ghost story. They're quite short as well, aren't they? They're only about 30 to 40 minutes, but they're excellent. Look at this, Lars and the Real Girl renting out again. Is it bizarre? I mean, this film probably hasn't rented out for maybe 7 or 8 years, but it's just rented out twice in 3 weeks, which is crazy. I wonder why. The Handmaiden is rented out. That's been sat on the shelf for a while, the Park Chan-wook film. So that's good to see that flexing out. And take 2 gaslights into the shower. Not me, well actually yes me, because we have 2 gaslights on loan to completely separate people. Thankfully they both wanted the versions they took. They didn't, they weren't going for the second option. So yeah, one gentleman, Mr. Ed, came in for Gaslight from the British Gaslight from 1940, and then a lady came in yesterday for the other Gaslight from 1944, the George Cukor version with Ingrid Bergman. But great, I mean, those 2 gaslights have never been on loan simultaneously at all, so quite a unique proposition that I find very interesting, but I'm sure it's completely boring to you, and so it should be. I love this case. The Washing Machine, Ruggero Deodato's film. I love the way they put Deodato in the washing machine control panel. Just very, very shameless. All very, very shameless. And of course it is released by Shameless. Has this been out on Blu-ray since? I don't know. But it's good to see it going out. This is late period Deodato, 1993. I remember it being very, very exploitative, which is great. But good to see it going out. It probably hasn't been out since it came in all those many, many years ago. A decade ago. But yeah, good to see. And finally, one of my favourite films of all time. Always good to see someone discovering this for the very first time. I think Andy has taken this week. Sorcerer is out on loan. One of the great films by William Friedkin. The many, many great films by William Friedkin. One of my favourite directors of all time. And Sorcerer is just an absolute masterpiece. And when you see one person discovering that for the first time, it just makes the job worthwhile. So there we go. There's a little look at what's been going out on loan this week. A very nice selection. Indeed. We still got our mountain of arrivals just stacking up. And like I said, by Christmas, that'll be up here. That'll be up here because we've just ordered. What did I get? Well, I got the Houses of Doom box set, didn't I? From Cauldron, and I was so impressed with that. I thought, right, let's go and pick up some other Cauldron titles. So I think I picked up 7, I think, including their new release, which I think is an Indonesian film. But many of the Cauldron titles are region free, so I thought, yeah, let's take a look at that. And so I ordered those from Diabolic. Haven't shipped yet, but hopefully they should ship either today or tomorrow and be in for probably the show after next. But it'd be really interesting to take a look at those. They're all films I've never seen, but all sound marvellous. Not many films in at all this week, but it's that time of the year where we kind of play catch up. We kind of play, let's save a bit of money. We do have Vinegar Syndrome's Black Friday sale coming in 2 days' time, which is a terrifying proposition, but I don't think it will be that expensive for me. I think I'm pretty much up to date, so it might just be the occasional surprise title that I pick up, but some of those will be covered by my subscription, so hopefully I shouldn't have to spend too much in that sale. The Black Cat original movie came in this week. As I said, I don't know why I missed out on it. Just one of those things, you think you got your finger on a pulse, but inevitably something falls between the cracks. So Black Cat 1 is in. I will certainly be double billing those 2 movies. I thought I had this. I didn't, but everyone needs a Giant Rabbits on the Rampage movie. Knights of the Lepus. What can one say about this film other than Stuart Whitman, Janet Leigh, and Rory Calhoun? As the tagline says, your hair will stand on end. I love that. That is from Warner Archive Collection. Remarkable horror movie about giant rabbits. Must be seen. We have 2 other arrivals from Warner Archive here, both from the 80s. We have the Benica Gang with Andrew McCarthy. This was pre-St. Elmo's Fire and pre-Pretty in Pink. McCarthy plays the eldest of 5 orphans who have made a secret pact to be a real family, no matter what. Sounds fairly sinister, but generally it's meant to be a kind of heartwarming movie, so don't know about that. Has anyone seen it? Anyone seen that? Has anyone seen this as well? In the Mood, another 80s film. This one's directed by Phil Alden Robinson. Didn't he direct Sneakers? I forget. This one's set in 1944. We have a young Patrick Dempsey in this, as well as Talia Balsam. Patrick Dempsey plays a naive 15-year-old in the mood for love with 2 attractive older women. And suddenly he's grabbing headlines from Hitler in Everybody's Daily Bugle. A funny and wholly endearing comedy based on the true story of the teen who created a media frenzy as the woo-woo kid. Interesting. But yeah, that is In the Mood, which will be joining the Warner Archive collection here at Snips this week. A new addition to the Criterion collection is Eve's Bayou. This came out a couple of years ago. The price has been a little little bit prohibitive for me, around about the £30 mark. I had eased by you in on DVD anyway, but I noticed this week there was an Amazon voucher adjacent to it, which pulled the price down from £30 to about £18, so I couldn't resist it at that price. It's Kazi Lemons' film. It's a double disc, which has 2 different cuts of the movie. And it's a remarkable film. It's a remarkable film that must really be had in the best possible format. So it seemed like a no-brainer when it came to the upgrade on that one. And also we have Blink Twice, which did come in on DVD the other week. Amazon didn't have the Blu-ray. That's because it was an HMD exclusive. It's been out relentlessly, has Blink Twice, so I thought, well, let's add the Blu-ray to proceedings as well. So it's a smattering of new arrivals this week. Just checking the time, we're doing okay. So let's move on to have a look at some comments. Got quite a few comments this week. Quite a few comments this week. Let's have a look at what people have been saying. Horahan 666 says he is very glad to hear the video store is busy. Establishments such as yours take me right back to the 90s. Well, yes, it's good to take you right back to the 90s, but they should also take you forward to 2025. Because this is what we should be doing in 2025. We should be ripping up our streaming contracts and saying, like, let's get back to renting physical media. Let's get back to buying physical media. Otherwise, I was listening, I've just been to Manchester, and always I listen to Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery on the way. I subscribe to the Video Archives podcast, which is just a brilliant podcast. And they just done an episode on The Substitute, which is, I urge you to listen to it. And of course I just got The Substitute and on Blu-ray, as you well know. But yeah, just an episode of The Substitute, and the final film of the 3 that they discussed was Pancho Villa. And Gala, Roger's daughter, was saying that she rented Pancho Villa from Amazon Prime, and they had lopped off the last 20 minutes, unbeknownst to her. Which is just crazy. I mean, you just wouldn't get that with physical media, which, you know, makes you kind of realise that it's so important to preserve it as much as we can. Daniel Turner says, it feels like we've been getting a Kinji Fukasaku film from one of the boutique labels every month. Very welcome indeed. It's just relentless, isn't it? It's just absolutely relentless. It is a utopian scenario for Asian cinema right now. Just an absolute bounty, relentless bounty of new stuff week in, week out. Paul Barryman says, for fantastic releases, I watched Stir Crazy for the first time this weekend and thoroughly enjoyed it, so I might pick up the Indicator set, as I do like their releases. Good to hear that stood up. We got the Prior on Wilder set in last week from Indicator, so it's good to hear that's still regarded highly. Neil, mentioned Neil before, he really enjoyed Miracle Mile. He says I think if you treat it like a science fiction thriller, it's great fun. And he will bring it back today, which he did, for his fellow customer who didn't rent it. You know, what can you do? We Can Rebuild Him says, I was listening to an audiobook of a Richard Stark Parker novel, which are all great. The basis for Point Blank, of course, and The Outfit, yes they are. And the voice was so familiar, but I couldn't place it. Had to check. Robert Davey. He just keeps on rearing his ugly head. Sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. Ancient Slumber says, Battles Without Honor in Humanity is certainly worth seeking out. But my go-to Yakuza thriller is Massacre Gun. Also available from Arrow. Right, thank you, Ancient Slumber. I don't have Battles Without Honor and Humanity, and I don't have Massacre Gun, so I will seek those out this weekend. I think Arrow are starting a Black Friday sale, aren't they? So that could be 2 titles to pick up from that. So that's good news. I'll check those out. The Trooper echoes this. He says the Battles Without Honor and Humanity is essential. They're bloody brilliant films. So, I mean, you know, you're convincing me, you are convincing me they are needed in this video store. Graham Reed has been in touch, long time, no comment. Juggernaut is an absolute hoot. Remember, Juggernaut came in last week from Erotica. It's a 70s disaster movie classic. However, it was impossible to find on DVD because when it came out, it was bizarrely retitled as Terror on the Britannic. Interesting. Delighted to get a Blu-ray release. Daniel, once again, Juggernaut, the perfect film to watch whilst wearing a nice chunky knitted jumper. Perfect double bill with North Sea Hijack. And of course we have North Sea Hijack up in the ends there, the Roger Moore film, which came out from 88, from a couple of years ago. James says, Radiance never disappoints, especially their 3-disc box sets like the World Noir volumes. They need to be watched by fans of the genre, especially if they're only familiar with Hollywood films. In my opinion, I think I prefer the foreign ones. Also, I've been going through the John Pierre Muckies, the Agitator box set. I'm very impressed with that so far. I've just got Agent Trouble to watch. The other 2 films are batshit crazy. Fantastic. I didn't get the Agitator box set, but you certainly convinced me that it's worth a look. Judge Muffin, another cracking episode. Gromit, any chance you're doing your top 5 Christmas films sometime in December? Yes, let's do that. Let's do my top 5 Christmas films, even though they all might be horror films. But yes, we will definitely have a Christmas themed episode at some point in December. At some point in December. And M62 Films says Keith? ? Shh. They are the comments. Just got time for a few Sleeping Giants. I know we did an LGBTQT Sleeping Giant last week from there, but we have otherwise been going through the alphabet in reverse order. We did Sleeping Giants beginning with W, we did U, and now here's some T's for you. Here's some T's to tease you. So 3 Sleeping Giants that I think are well worth a look. They're not masterpieces, but they're all decent films that I think most people have forgotten existed. First up, The Trigger Effect. The Trigger Effect, Carl McLaughlin, Elizabeth Shue. Directed and written by David Koepp. David Koepp, who of course had a long-standing creative partnership with Steven Spielberg, I think, didn't he? But yeah, The Trigger Effect is a fine film, never been out on any format beyond VHS in this country. I have the DVD here from Australia and from Flashback Entertainment. But this is a good little thriller. Thoroughly recommended. You got Dermot Mulroney in it, as well as Michael Rooker. But I do like this. Indeed. Now, I may be wrong on this, but I think Thursday is a masterpiece. Thursday, out on Blu-ray. I doubt anyone bought it. Thomas Jane stars. Aaron Eckhart stars. As well, a hard-hitting action thriller full of violence, sex, murderous suspense, and deep black humour. What more would you want? I liked this a lot when it came out. I mean, a lot. Mickey Rourke's in it too. I haven't seen it in a long time, so whether it stands up today, I don't know. But certainly, when I saw it a couple of times, I thought it was very, very good indeed. And obviously, with this awful artwork, nobody really gravitates to it. And why would you rent a film called Thursday? But yeah, it's excellent. But saying about, why would you rent a film called Thursday? Or why would you rent a film called Taxman? Well, it'll make a great double bill with the accountant. Taxman, I mean, this is probably a 3-star movie, a 3-star out of 5. Directed by Avi Nesher. The only reason I've highlighted this is it's because it's a rarity, because it's when a supporting actor, a character actor, gets a lead role. This doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's really, really interesting. And to see Joey Pants get a lead role and be good in it as well, I think that makes it worthy of holding up and saying, seek it out. Like I say, it's not a film that's going to change your life, but as a decent Friday night, midnight movie to watch on and not think too hard about, it's a very entertaining thriller. Elizabeth Berkley is in it, as well as is Michael Chiklis and Robert Townsend and Casey Siemaszko and Mike Starr. I mean, what a cast. But it's decent. It's from 1998. It's well worth a look. The title is slightly off-putting, but I did like this film a great deal. And like I say, it's great to see Joe Pantoliano get a lead role. Final section is some VHS. And with some VHS this week, I have some smut for you, as only I know how. One of the funny things, both of these are interesting watches. One is better than the other. But the funny thing about the erotic thriller period in the 90s, when films came over from America, distributors in the UK just manhandled them to such an extent it was just remarkable. So first of all, we have Shauna O'Brien in Hell Hath No Fury, Like a Woman Scorned. Hell Hath No Fury, Shauna O'Brien, directed by Fred Olen Ray. It's a great film, but of course it's produced by Andrew Stevens. It's not called Hell Hath No Fury. That's not its title. Its original title is Friend of the Family 2, although it has no bearing and no relation to Friend of the Family 1, apart from the fact Fred Olen Ray directed both films. But yeah, Friend of the Family 2 is in this country as Hell Hath No Fury. It's a good erotic thriller, and it deserves a look. It did get a sequel, Hell Hath No Fury 2, same supplier, same distributor in the UK. So they gave it a sequel, Hell Hath No Fury 2, but surprisingly, it's not Friend of the Family 3. Friend of the Family 3 doesn't exist. So Hell Hath No Fury is actually Masseuse 3. So that's Friend of the Family 2. That's Masseuse 3. No relation to that, except it's directed by Gary Graver, who of course was a great friend of Fred Olen Ray. But yeah, that kind of shows you that if you were around in the 90s and you were reading about erotic thrillers coming out in the US, and then you kind of saw these appear in the video store on the top shelf, you kind of think, well, I've never heard of these. But then you stick them on and you think, well, hang on, this seems like a completely different film. This is Masseuse 3, and that's Friend of the Family 2. It's crazy, but that's some of the tricks that the distributors did in the UK back in the 90s to kind of create publicity for their films. Because like if Friend of the Family 1 didn't come out in the UK, you can imagine putting out a film called Friend of the Family 2 and people would be like, well, where's the first one? So by changing the title to original movie, it gave people a reason to see it. And of course that did incredibly well on video. So let's make an imaginary sequel. There we go. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. So yeah, that's a bit about erotic thrillers and smut. Both worth a look, both great. And that's it. We've been, 35 minutes. Perfect timing. Lots to do, so I'm going to crack on and get busy. And thank you for watching. Next week we'll have a bit more on our merchandise launch, which I really can't wait. And you'll have to be honest with me and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming, keep the recommendations coming, and thank you for all your input regarding the Japanese films, Yakuza films. I'm really, really grateful because it's just a subject I know nothing about. So just to get a little bit of a hint on which direction to go in, that's kind of very handy indeed. And similarly with the Radiance box set, it really does help me when you comment like that, and it's a big help. So thank you, very much appreciated. But yes, I'm going to crack on and keep in touch. And in the meantime, I guess I will see you in 7 days' time.